I took away from that story is that East Asians can't drink anything. You can't drink alcohol because cancer, you can't drink milk because lactose intolerance, and you can't drink cold water because apparently that's bad for digestion. So it's just, what are we supposed to do here? What is left to drink?
We've lost the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, milk, cold water, and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's all you need for a good life, and we can't have any of it.
Oh my god.
Maybe you can drink the Japanese seawater and it'll neutralize it.
Welcome to the Politically Asian podcast. We're just two Asian American comedians talking about politics and the Asian American community in hopes of getting more Asians to talk about politics. We're coming at you live from Brooklyn, New York. My name is Aaron Yin. My pronouns are he, him, and you can find me on social media at Aaron Flarin. That's AARON FLARIN. And my co-host...
Hey, my name is Jerry Lim. My pronouns are they, them, and you can find me across the internet at Jerryaki. That's GERRIEYAKI. And today we're doing a fortune cookie fortune shout out. So every week we read fortunes for our supporters who donate to support us at buymeacoffee.com/politicalasian. And then we make ChatGPT spit out a couple of fortunes. Then we interpret it with a politically Asian twist. So this week, our donor is Carolyn.
Yay!
Woo!
Thank
Thanks,
you, Carolyn.
All right, Carolyn, your fortune this week. Create bridges, not walls. Engage in a meaningful conversation with someone who holds differing views. Wow. Should I do you want to go first or should I go first?
You can go first if you want to.
Carolyn, I advise only doing this if you are not on high blood pressure medication. I I was gonna say that I've participated in this lately by choosing to engage with my mom on political topics. I find that deep breaths, it does actually work. The deep breathing, and fidget toys are the best way to have a conversation without blowing up, and asking a lot of questions about why do you think that? So yeah, those are my thoughts. Aaron, what about you?
That's very Socratic, right? Is that what they call it? Socratic, the discussion method? The Socratic method. Why do you think that? Where did that come from? Interesting. Tell me more. Yeah, that's so funny. I was going to say something similar. I think the key word in this fortune is the word meaningful. It says engage in a meaningful conversation with someone who holds differing views. But depending on how different, oftentimes it's like absolute dog shit. It's not meaningful. It's toxic. It's a waste of time. They might be trolls. There might be no point. They might double down or triple down. And it's like, all right, at some point you got to just give up. So I think this fortune's more meant for someone who's sort of on the fence about something, or maybe someone who's never thought about an issue before. I think class consciousness is something that not many people think about. Immediately I always go to the picket line in front of MoCA, the Museum of Chinese in America. Sometimes you got a lot of Asian people who are just like, I'm Asian. This is an Asian museum. That's why I want to support. And then we got to be like, yeah, but this is a situation where, it's not just about the race thing, because we got rich Asians selling out poor Asians in this case. And they're like, oh, interesting. So that's
interesting. And then they go inside.
Yeah. Or sometimes they don't, right? Like today, when the picket ended, there was an entire family from Minnesota that ended up not going in. But I think when I say different, it's not opposite. It's just different, maybe less developed is how I read this. But yeah, with respect to you, Carolyn, maybe you got someone who's less into politics, thinks politics doesn't involve me. Even though I'm a minority, maybe a woman, maybe there's all these other categories. There's this funny stand-up clip I watch around that. It's like, I'm not a minority or a worker or a blank or a blank. Why does it affect me?
That. I've seen that clip.
Yeah, it was really funny. But maybe someone who hasn't really developed their viewpoint as much. I think this is a fortune that's asking you to do something about that, especially if they're a friend.
I will say the best debate advice I've ever heard. I guess don't really go into stuff thinking that it's a debate, but in regards to you pointing out the meaningful conversation piece, I always like to ask, and perhaps throw some fluff on this, but ask the question: what would you need to hear to change your mind, or what do you need? What piece of like information do you need to see to change your point of view, or art? Just kind of ask like if someone is even open to changing their mind, because otherwise, you're just yelling at a wall.
It's like that meme of that white guy in front of a table. I think it's like Steven Crowder or something, one of that right wing commenter. He's just sitting in front of a table and he's like, change my mind.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
But that's the type of trolly person that I would not like engage with at all. There's no sincerity in this conversation.
Right.
Yeah. And Carolyn, if you do have this conversation, hit us up, politicallyasianpodcast@gmail.com or Instagram us. But either way, thank you so much for donating. Cool. Let's move on to our next segment, the Practice What You Preach segment. So on this podcast, Jerry and I, we talk a lot about politics, but it's also important to do things in real life. So each week, Jerry and I will share one thing that we did in real life related to politics or organizing. This week, I'll go first. I guess I just talked about the picket line, but aside from that, I did help this group come up with the question for this town hall that happened recently. So Eric Adams was going around in Chinatown and had this town hall, and basically it was a whole bunch of people, each assigned to a specific table. Each table only got the chance to ask one question.
Cool.
And we just helped draft that question. It was needlessly complicated because you have to strategically put all your people on one table, so then you're not arguing with other people about what question to ask. But the question we asked was about the Chinatown Working Group rezoning plan. Mm-hmm. It's like a plan that will protect Chinatown and the Lower East Side from luxury real estate speculation. Because right now there's a lot of that going on, like places getting destroyed, new high-rise buildings that are luxury rates getting built, and then in many cases warehoused. So it's like where investors just hold on to those empty spots for a very long time.
Vacancy tax.
Vacancy tax. So we essentially asked him about that. His answer wasn't that great because he has a very simplistic supply and demand answer. There's a full video on it's Instagram, but it's still a work in progress right now. We're still strategizing about what to do, but I think it was really interesting to be able to ask that and also hear like what is he thinking right now regarding rezoning and protecting Chinatown and Lower East Side as districts.
I mean, I would argue that he's probably not thinking about it at all because it's real estate who lines his pockets for re-election.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we put in the video too. But on the topic of earlier about race, right? The director of city planning in New York City, she's an Asian woman. She's like an East Asian woman, like I think like a Chinese woman. Edith Su Chen is her name. And it's like, dude, we're dealing with, you're dealing with, people who are the same race as you, but spouting the opposite beliefs now. That's the level of fight that we're at.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I feel like New York politics is like the one thing that I can stand on two legs with. And I have made comments about Eric Adams' administration, like just criticized it with facts and data. And people will be in my comments and say like, you just hate him because he's a black man. I'm like, that's not it at all. And where did I bring that up? So do you feel like asking questions like that, like, do you think that like makes him stop and think?
No, I think the main person is actually the director of city planning because that's who he listens to. So like after this, we do have like some more meetings with Edith, and we've been strategizing around how to get the DCP to actually get this rezoning plan move forward. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty hard. But I don't know. There are some meetings coming up around this, but it's still like a very new work in progress. Like the town hall was like 1 or 2 weeks ago.
I see. Okay, and this is my last question. Could she theoretically listen to y'all and carry out the plan, whatever, but Eric Adams like vetoes her or something and says, no, we're not doing that?
I don't think so, because she's just like an Eric Adams clone.
Oh.
That's the frustrating part, right? It's like when we talk about DEI as well, like the higher up you go, you got diverse faces, but uh the same
Same brain
idea,
cell.
same brain cell. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I was trying to make it rhyme, but nothing was nothing was coming to mind. But yeah, it's just different, same race, and then yeah, same brain, literally same brain cell. The last one, right? The last brain cell. So it's mainly all about changing her. She just really like it's so frustrating when you have Asian people essentially who are like very pro real estate, pro market rate housing, not about the low income housing.
Yeah, that is really annoying. I don't really know where we go from here. I think like it's also hard because I feel like after white folks, I see, and I think you and I have talked about this. I see a lot of like Asian people get really involved into real estate, like they become developers, real estate people, landlords. There's like a desire within Asian Americans to profit off of land ownership and stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's the last frontier. I feel like literally, yeah, everyone's trying to like real estate as a commodity. It's monopoly in real life.
Yay,
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. Well, that was depressing as hell. How's your week?
Well, okay, my week hasn't happened yet. So we are in the planning stages and we are going to see what happens this week. But essentially, my team, as if you have not been caught up with us for the past couple of episodes, my poor little team at work has been cut down from like five to three of us. Not cut down. People have left. And this week, as you know, is Labor Day. Labor Day weekend's coming up. So all three of us took the week off.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we'll see how that goes because, as I've mentioned, we've had this interim manager who's like kind of just like not there. And he, I guess, didn't realize that he gave all of us the week off. He approved all of our PTO requests. So I hope they don't need anything from our team because we're not going to be here.
Yeah. Is this some form of quiet quitting essentially?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's more like I hope people realize how essential we are and how much work
Yeah.
we do when none of us are in the office.
I feel like it's okay, maybe it's called passive aggressive pause. Like we're all just leaving and we hope you get the message around how useful we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's great timing because performance reviews are coming up. So that will be interesting in that context. And, sometimes people tend to be like on their phones and stuff or like have their phones ready to go even if they're on vacation. But I think two out of the three of us, or actually, two of us will be out of the country and one of us will be in a very, very remote area. So probably won't even have cell service. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, it's passive aggressive pause. That's what I feel it's PAP.
Yeah.
Just like politically Asian podcast, PAP. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I was inspired.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I guess on that PAP note, let's go ahead and go to the meat of the episode. So this week in Asian American politics, we are starting with Japan. So Japan is releasing water from its Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant on August 24th, which was essentially 3 days ago. They're just releasing little bits of radioactive water. This is radioactive water that started in 2011 when Japan had this earthquake and tsunami, and they had to flood their power plant with water to calm it down at the time. But now that radioactive water has just been sitting there for, I guess, 12 years now, a lot of people are unhappy about this. China, Japan, Philippines, South Korea. Jerry, what is one thought you had about this situation?
So Japan says it will remove most radioactive elements from the water except for like tritium, which is a hydrogen isotope that must be diluted because it is difficult to filter out. And I think that's really funny because it's like you go to a restaurant and you return your salad, and the waiter comes back and is like, "We've removed most of the bugs from your salad, sir, except for the ants because they're too tiny and fast, and they, like
Yeah.
we still expect you to eat it."
Yeah.
I don't know. You've heard of microplastics? Now get ready for tiny radiation.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say like we've removed all the other stuff except for the leaves. That's what I thought. Yeah.
But then it's not a salad anymore.
Yeah. Yes, but overall, you're saying like it's not comforting that they're still leaving a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Like I don't
Yeah.
really want ants in my salad either, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the scientific agencies say it's negligible, which I think is the worst word to put in that kind of sentence. Because when they say negligible, I'm like, okay, so how many arms are we growing if we eat it? Like, like
Yeah.
it's like they say that the numbers are well below, but I think there's naturally a lot of fear that's going to come out with you dumping nuclear waste into the waters. Like we don't have enough issues already. So I feel like this is a pretty major L for the Japanese PR PR team right now.
Well, I mean, speaking of the PR team, there was like a line in one of the articles that was like, the government won a degree of understanding from the fishing industry. Why does it sound like those fishermen were threatened or bribed?
Yeah, literally.
What does that mean? A degree of
Yeah.
understanding.
A degree of understanding, yeah, yeah.
Bachelor's degree in understanding.
Yeah. Blink twice, blink 3 times. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, they also did bring in they call them the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog, essentially the UN nuclear group, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and they also said that the impact is negligible and it'll be fine. But it just, I don't know, man. I think China put it best. They had one of their foreign ministers say, like, if this is okay, then let's see everybody in Japan drink some of this water and eat some of that fish. Then then I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's, I believe, the Flint water crisis method of
Yeah.
debate.
Yeah, the Flint method.
I remember seeing that, and when they were talking about Flint, and they asked like a government official to drink this water, and it was like pure brown.
Yeah, yeah, or the Ohio train wreck from
Oh, yeah.
February, Norfolk
Yeah. Oh,
Southern,
yeah.
and there
Was
were
that this
tons.
year? Oh my god, that
Yeah,
was this
it
year.
was 6 months ago, right? And tons of fish and birds and chickens and cows were just dying, and the government was like, "Oh, it's fine. The air is fine. The
Right.
water is fine." Cut to this video of someone throwing a rock in a river, and the river turns like neon colors. I'm like, okay.
Wait, did that really happen?
Yeah, yeah. It was, you
Okay,
can search it up.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
look for that after this.
Yeah, it's like when you blow a bubble, it has like a rainbow
Yeah,
of
it's like
colors. It was like
iridescent,
that,
that
but
word.
without the bubble. Yeah, iridescent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I can understand why. It's bad because China and Hong Kong agree. Did you see that? Like
yeah.
they're on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
They're both like, we're gonna immediately activate import controls on Japanese seafood.
Yeah, Operation Ban Japan. Oh, that has a nice ring to it. Yeah,
Yeah, it
Ban
does.
Japan. Yeah, no, well, I wrote down this as my first thought. I said, first Japan does war crimes. Now this, and it's just like because like all the countries, right? Like China, South Korea. I'm not sure about the Philippines, but the Philippines is also pissed. All these, former colonized places of Japan are now having to deal with this latest Japanese incident, right? It's
Yeah.
like eco-terrorism. I'm not sure if that's.
Ooh.
I've like. What?
Ooh.
I'm not sure if it's eco-terrorism only because you're also harming yourself, though you say you aren't. So I don't know. But I agree, right? It has united a lot of countries that normally beef with each other. I was actually thinking China and the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
We always talk about China and the Philippines having a lot of fights about the South China Sea, but everyone's pissed this time. Like the Marshall, the Pacific Island is also everyone's mad at Japan right now.
If there's one cause that unites Asia, it's being mad at Japan. I will say that.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, all it took was radioactive ocean water. Yay!
Hey.
Hey, why is my sushi moving now? Oh my god. Yeah, I the only reason why I'm interested in, or one of the reasons why I'm interested in this is because eventually all the ocean water will circulate to us as well, right? It's just one big
Yeah.
soup.
Uh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is one big soup.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that. Because I ate at a Japanese restaurant today and had
Mm.
Japanese seafood today. And as I was eating it, I was like, they didn't do the nuclear waste thing today, right?
Oh,
Like,
it was a few days ago, though.
oh no.
Yeah.
Because
Do
it
you
was
feel?
imported from Japan. That's why.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Mm,
it said specifically on the menu, it was like imported from Japan. And I'm like, neat.
okay. Blink twice if you feel like your insides are changing.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask you this. Are you thinking about giving up seafood with all this?
I looked into the seafood and I feel like this restaurant was actually kind of the exception. I don't think a lot of um our seafood comes from Japan. And I was reading about because I was thinking about like the fishermen who will be impacted because now they're selling radioactive fish. But it said that the import controls that China and Hong Kong are instituting are mainly just political gestures and not economic, like ones with economic impact. Most
Mm.
of Japan's fish is consumed in Japan.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, which
I
is
see.
interesting to me. I guess in a way they are answering China's, dare.
Like, okay. Yeah. Yo, but
Yeah.
some of the footage was wild though. Did you see those photos of them just pulling fish out of a bucket and then like pressing like one of the like putting one of those radiation like measures on it? That was like
No.
intense. I'm like, yo, it was like stop and frisk for fish. I'm like, yo, like a DUI test.
No. Oh
Yo,
no.
I was like, yo, like you look radioactive. What's yeah? I'm like, holy, I'm like, I've never seen this in my life, but that's how they're doing it to try to get people
Have
to
you
come
ever
back to
seen
stores.
have you ever seen those prints of like fish prints where they take the fish and stamp it in ink and it was like an ancient way to show that you in fact caught this fish? It's a Japanese technique. It developed
Oh,
over
really?
there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I was gonna ask like,
Okay.
what century? Like before photographs. I'm assuming.
Yeah. But they used to like take a fish and like put one side in ink and then like put it on paper so
Mm.
they could record how big it is. And I just
Mhm.
imagine them doing that with this like radioactive fish and the ink like starts sizzling,
Oh
you know,
yeah, literally. Yeah.
starts glowing.
Yeah, I. This is one of those classic issues of the scientific knowledge versus public perception. I'm just gonna wait and see. Like it just sounds bad. Like it just sounds bad. Like the way they phrase it, it's negligible. You probably won't feel anything. I'm like,
You
okay.
probably won't feel anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Yeah.
the last note I'll close out on is the Fukushima plant operator vowed to compensate domestic businesses for damage from a fall in exports, which I thought was
Mm.
interesting because like I feel like a company in the US would only do that if held at legal gunpoint and then some. Like the
And
BP
then
oil
some.
spill, yeah, the BP oil spill. Oh, never, never. Like they did not care until everyone like I think hated them.
Yeah, yeah, and we still do. Yeah, like I forgot that happened until you mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we're moving on to the next topic in Asian American news this week, and that is the Republican primary debate. It was this past week, and boy, was it a circus. Candidates include Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Chris Christie, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, and others. Trump was not there. I think he was busy being arrested or something. Yet some people think he won. I saw an op-ed that said like Trump wasn't there, but he won, which I think is crazy. I'm just gonna stop right there because there's a lot to talk about with this. Aaron, what is one thought you had about all this?
Yeah, this was my favorite circus after Cirque du Soleil. This is very
Okay,
fun.
okay.
My first thought is I thought it was actually good that Trump was not there, just so I could understand who else is, running. Like we've
Hmm.
talked about Nikki Haley, we've talked about Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, and then there were just a few more names like, oh yeah, Chris Christie is still there. And Asa Hutchinson from Arkansas, I guess he's doing something. I forgot Mike
Mm.
Pence was even a thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was kind of good to, see the bad band back together, I guess, in this case. Yeah, I'll just cap it at that. It was like truly when Trump's there, everything just centers around him, right? So without him there, they were still talking about him, but you could also just kind of see who's who and who's second place at least.
Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna say I wish Trump had been there because if Trump had been there, they couldn't defend him, right? Because then they would just be endorsing people to vote for him and not them themselves.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. That was actually a major point of contention, right? Because some people were very pro Trump and some people weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
I felt like it was more of a Comedy Central roast of Ramaswamy. I feel like he was kind of the punching bag of tonight or the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
But I think he ultimately came away the winner in the
Mhm.
sense that running for president is not always about becoming president. Sometimes it's for the clout and the brand name. Because
Oh yeah.
getting people to say your name over and over again is valuable no matter what is happening, like whether you're running for president or just trying to, build something. And I
Yeah.
think I saw a report say that Ramaswamy was number 2 in terms of
Yeah,
speaking
yeah, they
time.
were saying that. Yeah. I was thinking about how we could cover this and maybe it's person by person or a few people. I mean, before the primary debate happened, Trump was 51%, DeSantis 15%, and Ramaswamy's third place at 10%.
Hmm.
Now, after this debate, who knows what it is, but he's basically like in third place. I'm like, "Oh, that's surprising."
Yeah.
And I do agree that like he got a lot of name recognition. I think some people might even empathize with him getting shat on, like an underdog mentality.
Ooh, everyone loves those
Right.
underdog. Like that's a
Yeah,
very American thing.
exactly. Yeah. For a large portion, stuff about like what are your views on Ukraine and abortion. But the funnier stuff is just how they talk to each other. Like, I'm sure you saw that one point about Chris Christie saying Vivek sounds like Chat GPT.
Jesus.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, man. That's a modern roast. That's a modern day roast. Like, you had to try for that one.
In 2080 though, that would
Yeah.
that would be a compliment, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in contrast, Mike Pence just said Vivek's a rookie, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weak. That's Mike Pence level of like
Yeah,
holding
that's-
back. The
that's
chastity.
Boomer. That's not swing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Throw a hook. I feel like I
Yeah.
feel like that's not even a good insult because I read that Vivek kind of used that a lot where he pointed out that everyone on stage was older than him. He like flouted the fact that he was younger all the time.
Yeah.
Younger and therefore quote unquote healthier.
Yeah, he's like half the age of Trump. Did you realize that? Vivek's like 30-ish something, maybe
He's
like
37,
40?
I think.
37, yeah, but Trump's like 70 something. Literally, 2 Viveks equals 1 Trump in terms of personality and age number. Yeah.
It's speaking of Trump, someone like tweeted this incredible tweet. What's funny is that Vivek is going to campaign with furious debate bro energy for 6 nonstop months. And then Trump will casually refer to him as Ramasmarmy or whatever, and he'll immediately turn to dust.
Ramaswamy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if this is dust related, but I mean, I was gonna say we have to talk about Ron DeSantis. I think the only other person who had some interesting stuff going on.
Right.
I know Trump always calls Ron like Ron D. Sanctimonious, but
Oh,
I
I
feel
thought it
like
was Meatball Ron.
oh, that's also another one, Meatball Ron. But I was thinking like Robot Ron is a good one because
okay.
there's that very viral clip of him trying to smile.
Oh, I need to see that.
Oh yeah, you need to watch it. Ron DeSantis says, "I will not let you down," and then he tries to smile by like lifting one half of his mouth and then the other half of his mouth. It's like
right
really
in the
funny.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yo, literally, I was like, "Yo, y'all are cut from the same processing chip." Two robots from a different same factory. I don't know.
Well, Ramaswamy might sound like ChatGPT, but it sounds like DeSantis looks like ChatGPT would.
Hey everyone, if you're still listening to the podcast right now, thank you so much for making it this far. Here to just say, if you like us, please consider pausing the episode right now and give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Those reviews really, really help us out with the algorithm that, does not really like us overall. If you want to support us financially, you can also do so by going to buymeacoffee.com/politicalasian. If you donate, we'll also give you a shout out as well. It's just a one-time payment of whatever you want. But we would really appreciate the review or the donation, either one. And yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks for listening, and back to the episode. That makes them the perfect running pair,
Yeah.
Yeah, they should run on that platform.
I do feel like if Ron DeSantis made Vivek Ramaswamy his running mate, I would be genuinely terrified.
Yeah. Oh my god, it truly is like a Megazord from Power Rangers, like all the robot parts combining together.
I feel like if Trump wins the nomination for the Republican candidacy, Biden or whoever the fuck is gonna, whatever, for the Democrats can just kind of hammer on like, oh, we don't want Trump in power. But with like DeSantis and literally anyone with a couple more brain cells than, Mike Pence or Chris Christie, I feel like it's actually dangerous, like really, really dangerous. Like how would Biden, Biden would not be able to handle that genuinely.
Yeah. It might be a little bit better. I mean, the only note I had about Chris Christie is that him and Asa Hutchinson are very anti-Trump. Like, they're very much like Trump is destroying the Republican Party. Vivek is more like, no, Trump's the hero.
Oh, no. Vivek said Trump is the best president of the 21st century. Direct quote, verbatim.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. Indian Americans, rise up. Yeah.
Representation matters.
Some banger quotes right here. Yeah. But I think after this, it just, in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's definitely Trump, maybe Ron DeSantis, and Vivek. And then everyone else is like, they're just here for the ride.
Did you see that article about Ron DeSantis, like that memo for Ron DeSantis and his talking points? It was like, number 1, attack Joe Biden and the media 3 to 5 times. Number 2, state Ron DeSantis's positive vision 2 to 3 times. 3, hammer Vivek Ramaswamy in a response. 4, defend Donald Trump in absentia in response to a Chris Christie attack. I was like, whoa, this is like a cookbook.
Yeah, like cookbook or algorithms for a robot.
Ooh, there
robot
you go.
Ron, yeah.
Cracking it.
So we got some if-then statements right here, yeah.
Just submit the memo in JavaScript next time.
Yeah. Ron DeSantis essentially has one super PAC running his entire campaign. It's wild, and they just publish everything online.
I am actually really impressed with that strategy because I was reading about it, and it was like they decide the risk is justified to convey what they consider crucial non-public information to the candidate without violating the. I was like, that must look so good to the base, and as I feel like they would never do that for a Democrat candidate. Like, I've never seen any memo like that, except maybe the ones get leaked about Biden, and it's just like giant writing in Sharpie.
Yeah. But yeah, I think at the next one, Trump might be there. What he did instead was have like a 1-hour video interview with Tucker Carlson that was released 5 minutes before the primary debate. Very petty, very Trump. It was just so funny. And then he had his mugshot and he was arrested, right? For like about and that was Trump's evening.
Sorry guys, can't make the debate. I'm busy getting arrested.
Yeah.
Um, I think there is one guy, Tim Scott. I don't know who that is. He's very much giving NPC vibes. I don't know if you remember when Jeb Bush ran for president, um, but this guy had a similar moment where he was talking about the border wall, and then he paused. This is straight from the article, extending each word in that concluding sentence. He paused for applause. There was none. Please clap.
Oh, when you tell a joke and pause, but it bombs. Oh man, God, that's so funny. Anyways, yeah, best circus performance after Cirque du Soleil, the Republican primary debates. Stay tuned for the second one. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the third topic for this episode. So we are talking about wage theft in New York City. So specifically, there are some really well-reported articles by Documented New York and ProPublica, saying the New York State Department of Labor fails to recover $79 million in stolen wages over the past 5 years, which is about 63% of the amount of wages stolen during this period. This is absolutely wild because it's a lot of money, and usually speaking, when you get your money stolen, you kind of rely on government to have your back, and in this case, that's not the case. The profiles have so many stories of people who filed stuff in like 2019, 2018, 2017. The DOL's like, oh yeah, you're right, they do owe you that money, and they just still haven't gotten it. I'll leave it there. Jerry, what's one thought you had about this situation?
I was mind blown by this direct quote from the article that said, this is from a government employee at the Department of Labor. If an employer said fuck you in response to a payment demand, there's not much the agency can do. Huh? You're the government.
Yeah.
Do some. Yeah. How come we can bomb countries but we can't get our money back? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was unacceptable to read. That's I'm like, it's not even long. It's just unacceptable. I'm like, you're literally just putting it politely. You're getting trounced on. Like, you're a fucking joke. Like, this is not good. I mean, they talk about, oh, our enforcement agency is chronically understaffed. No shit. It lacks a collections unit for wage recovery. So essentially, it's toothless, right? Because right now, the DOL is really good at investigating stuff. So it can be like, yeah, you are owed $300,000. But then they don't have anyone else to help them collect it. It's like, oh, if I owed you $10,000 and no one held me accountable, it's so fucked up.
It reminds me of the feature on Venmo. Like, if someone owes you money and doesn't complete the request, there's a remind button, but you can only press it one time, and it doesn't do anything to the other person. Just sends them a notification. That's it, and you can never press it again.
Oh my god! Wait, that's so funny. That's literally the Department of Labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. It's tough because this article talks about how the ones who suffer from wage theft the most are low wage workers who are primarily immigrants, right? Whether in construction or in healthcare or sometimes even a lot in restaurants, right?
Right.
Very common places for getting your wages stolen, and like they have no recourse. I'm genuinely speechless about like, what do we do in this situation? I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought that was very alarming, that stat that said 95% of businesses that had to pay outstanding back wages were repeat offenders. 95 is a wild, like, that's so much. That's an A, like a solid A. You know what I mean?
You have an A in wage theft. Good job. Yo, I mean, on that note, it's like, this is a great time to be a restaurant boss or a healthcare boss or any kind of boss, right? Because you can just steal all the money you want from your workers and get not even a slap on the wrist.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to play like that. Like,
Oh no, like in a bad way. Like this is
No, no,
bad.
no. I know. But I'm just saying, like, if I were like some kind of boss and stealing
Yeah.
money from my workers, and I was like, haha, the Department of Labor can't do squat. I let's just say I would be afraid to be caught in an alley. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, like I'm like we actually need that. Yo, the DOL just hire. Can we get some mafia or something? Like this is so stupid. Like $79 million. Like
You mentioned that the Department of Labor doesn't have enough workers to get the money back or like process those claims or whatever, and it's wild to me. Like, why don't they at least there should be like a system where the Department of Labor at least gets like commission, right? Like kind of like how lawyers get like a percentage of the winnings in a case. So like I feel like the Department of Labor should do that, and then some of that commission pays a government employee, because I know that's part of the problem is that government, like no one wants to work in government because the pay is just too low.
yeah, essentially we need bounty hunters. This is a
Yeah.
DOL, but just put a bounty on it. Like literally, I think
A
they
bounty
need
on money.
yeah, a bounty on money. Like it's the DOL has this backwards. It's like they have 90% calculator like people who do calculations, right? And then like a 10% part of their team who actually goes out to collect the money. It should be the opposite. Like we need way more collectors than calculators right now.
Yeah. I guess like I just don't know what they could do, right? Once they actually get there. Like, do they threaten jail time? Do they threaten like what is the punishment if you don't
Yeah.
pay back the wages?
Dude, in New York, it's the worst because there was this one sentence saying, in New York, the Department of Labor investigators, unlike their counterparts in other states, do not have legal authority to take actions against recalcitrant employers. Like,
What?
bro, part of the reason why this pisses me off so much is this is like, oh, it's New York State, you know, something liberal and whatever.
Sure.
Kathy Hochul, something. I'm like, this is so bullshit. It's not like it's the worst in terms of actually caring for workers.
Damn, that's really sad. Like I think that says a lot too, that, you know, if you don't pay, if you don't make your like mortgage or rent payments on time, you can be evicted. The bank can foreclose your house and reclaim everything. But
Yeah.
it's weird that the Department of Labor can't like shut down your business and then sell all your like fucking shares and use that money. You know, like it's
That part of the reason why this hasn't happened is because in New York City they have been trying to do that. It's called the sweat bill.
yeah.
And there's this really powerful group of restaurants in New York City that keep shutting it down because right now the sweat
Name them.
it's a hospital. Oh, I mean the biggest one, her name's Melba. She's in Harlem. She runs some restaurant called Melba's. She's like a 30 something influencer too, but she's the head of this alliance and she's been shutting it down every time. Like, so literally it's right now the sweat bill only applies to construction but no other industry because they keep shutting it down. It's really evil like that, but that's the reason. In other states they do allow what's called a lien. It's like a pause on assets
Yeah.
when wage stuff happens. It's just in New York State, you know, fuck the hospitality alliance. That's a whole different subject, but that's the short answer.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay. See, that's interesting to me because it's weird that like in, you know, real estate and then workers. That's
Yeah.
sad.
Dude, we gotta bring back bounty hunters, okay? I watched The Mandalorian, okay? We like
Bring back bounty hunters. Bring back crime. Bring back mafia.
yeah. I'm like, bring back bounty hunters. Bring back Robin Hood. Like, we need that kind of like aggression to get money back right now. Like right now, it's like. Right now, the Department of Labor is literally just being told "fuck you," and they're like, "Okay, fuck me."
Fuck me, I guess.
It's so lame, so
Yeah.
lame.
That's really fucking depressing. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just like these people have done everything by the book. Like if you get your wages stolen from you and you do decide to pursue the case, I'm sure that's like mentally and financially draining to just, you know, go all the way with that and then to be told, okay, well you won, but you didn't.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is also a good opportunity to organize and actually protest against the DOL. Because on Wednesday, there are a whole bunch of home care attendants actually protesting the Department of Labor in New York City.
Oh,
because
okay.
the DOL actually, on top of agreeing that they're owed hundreds of thousands, just drop their cases. They're not even helping them get the money back anymore. Really bad. But again, I think any kind of worker who has wage theft, at this point, you got to just protest the agency directly.
I don't. Could they like sue? Could they sue the
Oh
Department of
yeah,
Labor?
they also are suing the DOL.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was
they are
like,
actually suing
could
the
you
DOL.
sue? Like, what happens after
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what happens next, right? If the government doesn't do its job, you can sue.
Yep, yep. But yeah, this is a still developing story. I hope the DOL gets its ass kicked and gets back in line and starts doing stuff. This is so dumb. Like, it's like literally 500,000. Like, no, not, what am I saying? 500,000. It's a $79 million Venmo request where they just keep doing remind, and
No, you can't. You can only press it once.
yeah, like literally. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our last story, where we will be talking about Asian glow, which there's a good chance many of you listening to this probably experience. It's where your skin turns red after drinking alcohol. Sometimes you have an increased heart rate. You'll probably get a pounding headache hours later. And I'm not talking about like a hangover headache. You'll get it in like 3 to 4 hours. Basically, there was like this study put out that says that people who Asian glow are at risk for osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, and surprise, cancer. I'll leave it there. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this?
First thought, we are, literally red flags now. Like, like we drink and people can just tell that, oh, we are like, sometimes, what was it? Like, it was like 80%.
Yeah, it was a crazy number. It was like 40 to 80%.
Like some crazy number higher at risk for like esophageal cancer. And like you mentioned, gastric cancer, head and neck cancer, coronary artery disease, strokes, osteoporosis.
It's a long list.
It's terrible. I'm like, this is a major L for the East for the East Asian community. I'm like, I got nothing else to say. I'm like, yo, think like every East Asian group has like some big alcohol thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Chinese people have like baijiu. It's like 60 proof. Korean people have soju that they just drink all the time. Japanese people have sake, and I'm like, this is terrible. We're dying. No more of this. Yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, all I took away from that story is that East Asians can't drink anything. You can't drink alcohol because cancer, you can't drink milk because lactose intolerance, and you can't drink cold water because apparently that's bad for digestion. So it's just, what are we supposed to do here? What is left to drink?
We've lost the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, milk, cold water, and alcohol. Yeah. That's all you need for a good life, and we can't have any of it.
Oh my God, this is Paradise Lost.
Did not read it.
Yeah, I didn't. I said the title, but I also don't even remember what happened.
Incredible.
The scariest part is that it's not even a lot of alcohol. There were people talking about how even with just 2 cans of beer, the amount of acetaldehyde, which is the really bad thing, in your blood is already reaching carcinogenic levels. I'm like, two beers. That's like where most people would just be like, oh, I'm just getting started. Oh my God. Yeah, like to die.
Maybe you can drink the Japanese seawater and it'll neutralize it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cancer death battles in your body. Yeah. Only one.
The cancer will cancel out each other.
Yeah. I mean, the science behind it was kind of sad, right? I mean, I saw you read it too. It's just alcohol is broken down in 2 steps in our body. So it first becomes super toxic temporarily, and then it's broken down by a second enzyme. But people who Asian glow don't have that second one that breaks it down. So we just get super cancer in our bodies after we drink alcohol. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh man, I'm watching My Hero Academia right now, and that feels like. Have you watched that?
Oh yeah, I've watched it and read it.
Okay, it feels exactly like a quirk because with like quirks, you get a superpower, but there's also like a drawback.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what our superpower is, but I do see the drawback already.
No, this is the lamest one. Our superpower is we turn red.
Oh man.
The consequence is you get cancer.
This is the shittiest quirk.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. It's really bad. Also, uh, when I have a lot of friends who also have Asian glow, and back, especially in college, we were like, oh, like taking Pepsid will make the red go away, and that was cool. Pepsid does nothing for this, actually. It makes the red go away, but the cancer effects are still there. I'm like, oh my god, we are screwed. I'm like, oh, we are fucked.
Yeah, so I was reading about antihistamines and how some people take those for Asian glow, and
Yep.
it was really interesting to read. Like, yeah, it makes the red go away because it dilates. I think. Okay, whatever. It makes your blood vessels bigger so that your skin isn't red anymore and the blood's flowing again. But like you said, it doesn't do anything for the cancer either because why would it? And that's just I think about all the people I know who like tried every single medication in the book to like not Asian glow.
Oh, yeah. One question for you is, do you have Asian glow?
I do not. I don't think so. But I also don't drink, so
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So,
I don't drink that much, like ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I have slight Asian glow, but I also don't drink that much, and now I'm definitely not drinking more. Yeah, I guess that was my follow-up question is if you did, would you drink? But I guess in this case, no. But, what I'm taking away with this is, now we gotta say fuck seafood because it's radiation, like it's cancer fish, and now it's cancer alcohol too. It's
Cancer water.
cancer water. I'm like just truly, it's like I don't think dieting is the right word, but we're just restricted.
Yeah, and I think it's like hard to get people to not drink alcohol. You kind of mentioned it earlier that there's like pretty much a cultural alcohol for everyone. I think in the Philippines there's like a fermented coconut alcohol that you can get.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I can't imagine like telling like an older person especially like, hey, you should stop drinking because you're gonna
Yeah.
get cancer.
Yeah. I feel like the natural response is I'm old, I don't care, but I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I will. This is my last thought, my last commentary, because like in the context of telling people to not drink alcohol. So for those of you who don't know, I went to public health school, and obviously as a public health person, you really scorn cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
But I had this classmate in public health school who smoked, and they told me that because they were really interested in workers' rights too and knowing the history, and they thought we shouldn't always be so quick to shit on cigarettes because for a lot of people, smoke breaks were the only times a lot of workers could stop and rest. Like they had a right to a smoke break or something like that. So I think about that with alcohol, like alcohol is a means for like lower class people to catch a break, to feel better, like that kind of thing, and then to come in and be like, stop.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, I can see, yeah, like high class and low, like anyone drinking, right? Like, even
Yeah.
like you have got uppity people with the champagne, like the
Champagnes.
oh,
and...
this $200, not $200, this 200-year-old wine that I've been keeping in my cellar, like that kind of thing. Yeah, it seems like a universal sort of like social lubricant, right? But I can see how just even at work people can use it to like take the stress off, and now you're saying you can't even have that. Now I'm just stressed all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only if you're Asian and have everyone else is fine actually.
I mean,
So
okay, this is really putting my tinfoil galaxy hat on. You could argue that, say you need to go to the happy hour and talk to your boss, like get some social points with them, blah blah blah. But now you can't even drink while you're doing that because you'll get cancer. The bamboo ceiling strikes again.
Oh, Lisa, the bamboo ceiling. Oh my god, it's big alcohol and bamboo ceiling working together. Oh. That's actually pretty funny. On that conspiracy note, I think that's a great way to end the episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, please give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. It really, really helps us out with the algorithm. Feel free to also donate on buymeacoffee.com/politicalasian. And as always, you can find us on socials. Just look up Politically Asian Podcast. We're still on bi-weekly for now. So, we'll see you every 2 weeks and still keep some content going in the meantime. Got to work on that YouTube. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.